Hey everyone, David Hill here. So I get a question fairly often, and I thought I'd hop on here today and just share that question with you and then share with you my answer to that question. And the question actually comes in a couple forms typically. And I thought a good way to kind of describe it or to segue into it would be to bring up these maps behind me. These maps on my wall here, these are all places that I have lived in my past. And so, of course, I've got Portland here. Just next to Portland, I've got New York City. And then over here, I've got Paris, France. And then right here on the end, I've got a little lesser known place called Montpellier. It's a town on the southern coast of France, so down near the Mediterranean. But what's interesting is that in these two locations here, Portland and Montpellier, I actually did the job that I'm doing today. That is in terms of my land development company. And that brings me to the question that I get every once in a while. The first form of that question is, hey, Dave, you know what? I live in the sticks. I live in the middle of nowhere. And how can I do what you do? How can I put together land deals? There's no residential growth for miles around me, and I'm just really a bit of a hermit situation where my nearest neighbor is 5 miles away. So that's one form of that question. Another form of the question is, hey, I live in a very densely packed city, for example, New York City, and in my town where I live, there really is no dirt left over to develop. It's all been developed. So how can I put land deals together living in a place like New York City? And the answer to that question is actually, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you live. And the reason for that is because land deals can be put together from anywhere. They can be put together from anywhere. And I think a lot of folks have misconceptions or a difficult time kind of wrapping their head around that concept, because oftentimes we get a lot of people who are involved in real estate showing an interest in our program and coming into our program. And oftentimes there are folks that will be doing fix and flips, or there are folks that will be doing wholesaling homes, or they'll be buying rental homes. And with a lot of those strategies in the real estate world, it oftentimes requires that the person go and physically inspect the house that they're looking at buying and fixing, or the house that they're trying to get under contract so they can get it wholesaled. Whatever that strategy is, oftentimes they just need to go and visit the house. And in order to do that, they've got to drive to it, they've got to set up an appointment, they've got to go inside, they've got to walk it, figure out what kind of rehab needs to be done to this home, about what it's going to cost. You know, all these things require this person to go and actually visit this home. Land is different. Land is extremely different. And one of the biggest reasons it's different is because going and looking at a piece of property, actually, it will not give you a lot of information. And I know this from experience. I have had situations in the past where I have gone and looked at a piece of dirt. In fact, in the last year or so, there is a piece of property just outside of Portland where I'm currently living, and it's about maybe, 45-minute hour drive away, and a nice piece. And for whatever reason, the property owner just insisted on me coming out and meeting him and walking the land with him. And so I finally caved and I agreed to do it. I drove out there, put on my boots. Him and I spent about an hour or so walking the land. And when I got done with that meeting with this gentleman, I knew nothing more about the land than I did from before I arrived to visit and walk the land. And that comes down to the fact that land research is not done by physically driving out and looking at dirt. Land research is done in your home office, using your computer, using your phone. Everything that I need in order to determine if I like a piece of property or not can be done from my home. Some of those things are just the first off, deciding if the property has development potential. Deciding what I can do with the property, taking a look at the zoning. Is it going to be a residential single-family detached project, or is it going to be a residential attached townhome project, or everything in between? So determining what I can do with the property is done from my home office. Putting a value to that property is done from my home office. Running comps on homes selling in the area and all the other ways that I use to figure out what a piece of property is worth. All of that is done from my home office. If I need to reach out to a city planner or a county planner and get some information on the area, guess what? I do that from my phone. I don't actually drive down to the city and sit down with the planner. I do it by phone or by email. And so everything that I need in order to be able to put a land deal together is at my fingertips in my office. And so what that does for me is it allows me to expand my markets. It allows me to go into other states. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. We are doing projects in multiple states, and they are not areas where I have to fly out to and go visit. They are just, it's work that I've done from my home office, and everyone else on our team here does from their home office. And so it is a liberating thing to be able to choose a market that isn't necessarily in your backyard and be able to go after it. And coming back to the question that I get oftentimes from people is, if you live in the sticks, yes, you can do what I do, unless you live so far out that you don't have internet. But most people do, and you can do what I do from the sticks. If you live in a tightly dense populated area, you can absolutely do what I do. You do not have to go after dirt that is within some kind of driving radius from around which you live. You can go after land from the next state over, from 2 states over, from across the country. It just doesn't matter. It can be done from a distance. And so that's a real liberating thing. And it's a question I get quite often. So I thought I'd just hop on here and share it with you guys. If you have any follow-up questions, make sure you leave a comment. Give me a like if you like the video, and I will catch you on the next one. Actually, beforehand, I almost forgot to let you know, obviously, if it's something that you're interested in, if you're interested in learning how we do this, how we put these deals together from cross-state, how we're able to put these deals together from our home offices, well, you've probably seen this already. We've got a link for you. We've got a video presentation for you. It is at vestrite.com/action. It's about a 30-minute video, and we walk you through kind of the high-level broad strokes of what it is that we do. And then towards the end of that video, if it's something you're interested in, you can book a call with us, and we'll get to know who you are and find out if it's a good fit. All right, guys, so I will end it here. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next week. All right, see ya.